The following program contains adult language, poor taste in jokes, racial slurs, political slurs, slants, and all sorts of things that, if you are sensitive and have a delicate constitution, you should probably go watch Teletubbies. You were warned.
I ain't drunk, I'm just drinking. But you're so high. Oh man, you know I ain't high. But you're so high. Yeah, well I just take a little sip every now and then. But you're so high. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Oh, come on now, you all don't feel like that.
Bam! Hey kids, welcome back. Sorry for the delay. It has been a while. But there's going to be lots of stuff this week. Starting with this video, probably one or two more videos yet today, and maybe another one or two later on this week. Partially just because I've been so busy, partially with work and life and people, whatever, family. And then last weekend, as you guys might have seen, me trashing my UL-19 boats. We were at my mom's on the weekend back in Indiana. So anyway, ChopShop, Tornado, RedCat Racing, Tornado s30, I think it's called. Hang on. The ChopShop. So I got everything done I wanted to get done, except I did not change the rims and the tires yet. Don't even know if I'm going to do that. I might just sell this one because I actually have two more cars coming. Three if you count a big one. Two more Nitro eBay jobbies, just because it was fun to rebuild. And so I'm buying them cheap and putting some work into them, and it was fun. But if you guys think that I make a fucking mess building a quad, you should see me build a car. It is fucking horrible. And this bench, you couldn't even see it. I put something down over Yoda, plastic mat, because you're dealing with grease and all this other stuff. So we're going to do the overview of everything that I did, and we're going to then take the cheap-ass hat cam and do some really, really bad driving because the roads are so soaking wet. I've already driven the car once just to tune it this morning. It's running a little rich, which is okay at this point. Yeah, it was squirrely as shit. I only got to shift into second gear once because it's just so squirrely and fast. It's just stupid. So, without further ado, bam! There it is. Now, there's the body. We did a hydro dip job on it. And I'm going to pop up right now a picture of what it looked like when it came to me. Okay. In its defense, it came to me looking pretty nice. I mean, it was actually really clean for the most part compared to a lot of things. The guy, I don't think drove it. I honestly don't think he messed with it much. And I need to clean this thing off because it's probably got grass in here because I was running with the top off, blah, 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 blah. So what I did, I don't love this body, so I don't really care. If I don't sell it, I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to put a different body on it, bigger tires, just because I want a ground pounder. But we hydro dipped it with the Screaming Skull thing. I took a Dremel tool and cut out the windows because it used to have just like clear Lexan there. I cut out the windows and I 3D printed this net out of TPU, this netting, to put in there so we get a lot more ventilation into the engine, and I think, honestly, it looks cooler. So let's pop the top. And the other thing that I did, like I'm doing on my boats, I used a clear epoxy, the epoxy that I've been using, that I bought in the gallon jugs, and I actually epoxied over the hydro dip because, as you guys may or may not know, with Lexan bodies, usually you paint the inside and then you're okay. When you crash and whatever else, it doesn't scratch it up. But with a hydro dip, you pretty much have to do it on the outside. So I put this clear layer of epoxy on there, which made it a lot stronger and going to protect that finish. All right, so under the hood, what have we done? What haven't we done? Okay, excuse the dirt. This thing it's not really dirt, it's grass and wetness. This thing was clean as a whistle because I tore it completely to the ground, chassis up, rebuild. We replaced the nylon or whatever swing arms these were. They came with this plastic style, and I replaced those with aluminum A-arms, so they swing a little bit better. There's a lot of flex. I don't know if I have one of the originals handy. Here's one of the rears, and you can see it just flexes like a bitch. RedCat makes some cool cars, but flex kind of like a quad, guys, kind of like a quad frame. You want a little bit of flex, because as soon as you hit, and that's why, going to aluminum, maybe not the best idea, but I don't care. I actually left the turn knuckles the nylon, because they don't bend, but they will absorb a little bit of flex when I crash. So I removed these, put aluminum on, aluminum top, bottom, turnbuckles, the servo saver in there, which is kind of hard to see, is also upgraded to aluminum. I upgraded the servo to a digital high-speed servo. It's exceptionally fast. I'll show you that in a second. Replaced the rear swing arms, rear tie bars as well. Replaced a lot of the screws. We tore down the entire front end, went into the differential. The gears look great in the diffs, both front and back, but what I did was I flipped them over, cleaned them out, scrubbed them out with WD-40, made sure the bearings, everything was good, and then I packed them. I did a bearing pack and a grease pack and reassembled those. Those are back in. Cleaned out the nasty ass fucking gas tank, took that out, put in a fuel filter, obviously. Here's our vent pipe. Tweaked in the exhaust a little bit. It still needs a little bit of tweaking. Get in there. New glow plug. We tweaked the engine. We rebuilt the engine pretty much. When I got this car, you couldn't even pull start it. You couldn't even roll the engine. It's absolutely fucking awful. We oiled up the air filter. I checked the brakes. The brake works really, really good. Readjusted the brake. The transmission, totally, this is a 2-speed transmission. I put in the 47 tooth speed gear was fucked. It's at the bottom of the trash can right now. But this is basically what that looks like. And you take out the one-way bearing of the old one, put it in the new one, and there you go. That's a 42. This is not the high speed. There's the 47. So there's a 42 and a 47. That makes up your transmission. 2-speed transmission, got that dialed in, cleaned that out, blah, 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 did all that good stuff. Made sure, readjusted the brakes. Brakes worked really good. Like I said, totally redid the engine, tuned it this morning. It's running a little bit rich, but that's okay. For one thing, it's very humid out, and the temperature's kind of like wonky. And honestly, this thing is so fast running semi-rich that I'm going to leave it alone, because I can't control it on a fucking road anyway, so why make it go faster? As long as I've got a good transition from low to high, going from, 8th throttle, quarter throttle to half throttle, as long as that transition's smooth and I got good blue smoke coming out, that tells me that I'm, probably running a little bit rich, just because the gas, one tank, which is a little tank, right? That tank's lasting about, my guess, I haven't actually run it for 15 minutes straight, my guess, wide open, is going to be about 15 minutes, which is fine. That's good enough. Real tiny tank, a little Dixie cup fucker there. But the engine's tuned in. I had it starting cold on one pull, so that's good. Ramp up, ramp down, everything seemed to be really good with that. Like I said, rear end, changed the swings, tie bars, repacked the differential on the back as well. We took apart the wheel bearings and the dog bones, all that stuff. The dog bones had a little bit of slop in them. A little trick, if you've got slop in your dog bones, which are your drive axles, well, not your drive axles, these are your drive axles, but your dog bones are what's right here, driving your wheels from your diff. Take a piece of fuel tubing or silicone tubing, cut a little tiny bit off, and shove it into the coupling back here, and that will take up that space and give you a little bit of cushion, and still gives you the flex that you need for your suspension, but it keeps them from popping out under stress. So that worked out really well. I had to do that with the front, not the back. Let's see, what else did we do? Thing's pretty much totally rebuilt. I need to adjust the shocks. The shocks suck. Not horrible, but yeah, too spongy for me. And I am not a car fucking expert. I think I used to be. When I was a kid, I was pretty damn good, but I'm not anymore by any stretch of the imagination. I want it so it's reliable. I can fire it up, run it around the yard, go bashing in the sand and the snow or whatever else. And I'm going to print some snow tires for one of the cars. Might not be this one. When I'm out in my travels, I can throw it in a gravel pit and play with it. I'm not a racer. I don't care, you know. It's just, as long as it's good enough for me, I'm happy. The person that had this before me, I know for a fact, did not, A, run the car very much, and B, did not know what they were doing. The setup was absolutely horrific. The toe in, toe out. I got a little bit of a toe in on the front now. Leveled out the rear tires, do not have much of a toe in the back. Steering was goofy. The servo saver was fucked up. The toe and the pitch was screwed up, which it still might be. I might have to adjust those, but yeah, you can see I need to adjust my shocks. Pretty lax there, but that's okay. So we still need to tweak that in. The engine was totally gummed up, fucked up, trashed. The car itself, believe it or not, was in good condition, but it was just absolutely horribly set up. I did take out the, I'm going to show you this real quick, because this is a really good trick, because I despise using AA batteries. Just fucking hate it, right? Because I've got drawers and drawers and drawers and drawers full of lipos. Why the fuck should I be buying AA? So what I did is I took this, if I can get it off, kind of a tight fit. All right, there's my receiver buried in there. I took one of these batteries, which is simply a, what is that thing? Just a cheese ass 1000 3S. Is that 3S? Yeah, 3-cell. Just a 1000 3S, because my receiver will take up to 10 volts, no problem, that's fine. And basically, I just took a balance lead, I'm sorry, not balance lead, but a servo lead for power, and hacked it into the negative of the balance plug and the positive of the balance plug. So that means I can still charge this battery with my XT30 balance my normal LiPo charger, but then I just plug this into the switch end of the business, and bam, that battery's gonna last for fucking ever. And now I don't have to worry about pissing around with AA's, pissing around with this, and this is actually lighter than 4 AA's. It's gonna last longer than 4 AA's. Yeah, that's just gay. Don't use AA's, guys. That's stupid. Okay, so my antenna tube's a little bit jacked up. I still don't have a good solution on that yet, but that's okay. We don't care about that. All right, plug that in. Bam. So adjusted the brake was fucked up, the gears were stripped because the guy that had it before me did not align the engine right. What you have to do to align the teeth of the engine spur gear to the transmission in this particular car, because they're covered, you can't get that cover off, it's part of the transmission housing, you have to remove the gas tank so you can get in there to see the pinion versus the gears in the transmission. Then what you do is you take a piece of paper, a normal piece of thin paper, and you stick it on the side of the gears, push the gears together tight, then tighten down the motor bolts in the bottom of the car, and then roll the motor so the paper pump comes out like a printer, and bam, you're set perfect. And it is. I ran it, like I said, for about 15-20 minutes this morning. No grinding, no nasties, and you can check your gearing down here. Looks really good. I'm actually going to put some grease on there. But I did not change first gear out on this because it did have a couple of teeth that look like they're going, and I did have the gear to do it, but honestly, they weren't that bad. So I thought, I'm going to save it till they are. I'll just get the rest of the life out of that thing, and bam. So got it mated up to my boat transmitter, and this does all my cars and boats. This is my radio linked blah 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 blah, hydro dipped of course. So we're going to turn that on, turn on the car. Okay, check out how fast that servo is. That's fast. All right, so everything's copacetic, everything's functional. I bought a spare clutch just because I knew the clutch was okay. I bought a spare clutch, which is an aluminum shoe. This is an upgrade, okay? The upgrades for these things are pretty cheap. It's really not bad, but I did not replace it because when I rebuilt the engine the other day in that video, I didn't rebuild it, but I definitely tore it apart, cleaned it. The clutch shoes, which are nylon or Teflon, are perfectly clean, no wear at all. So I thought, you know what, that's another piece that I'm just gonna save for later, and we'll be good with that, good to go. Let's see, what else did we do? I think that's about it. I wanted to do the hat cam of the driving. I want to start it from a cold start because when I was playing with it this morning, it was firing up absolutely beautiful. But now I want to see what it's like on an absolutely cold start. We'll let it warm up a little bit when we fire it up with the cheap-ass hat cam. And I believe everything's ready to go. We'll do a little hat cam. I'm not going to do FPV on this one just yet anyway, but you guys can see the hat cam. So, here we go. Hat cam. All right, here we go. JJ's cheap-ass hat cam. And of course it's raining outside, so this is going to make my already bad driving probably much worse. So, that's okay. This thing is cold as ice. Hasn't been run a couple hours. Hopefully it fires right up. So, turn on our zapper. Watch, now the fucking thing won't start. It's about right. Par for the course, right? Okay, I'm not even going to prime it. We're going to see what happens. Close. She's cold. We'll let her warm up. It's not too hot out either, so. Let's give it some gas. Cold-blooded. Woo! Let's go through Dickhead's yard again. Here, it's shifting into gear. Let's get a good second shift spin here. I can't go full throttle, it spins out. There, hear it? That transmission's working great. So she's a little cold-blooded getting going, but... Ah, fail. Keep giving it gas. That way it won't die up. Oh, it died. Alright, like I said in the other video, it's running a little bit rich, which is part of the reason it had a hard time getting going. But, it should fire right up. My idle could come up a little bit. Idle's really slow, it needs to be higher than that. That's alright. It's too fucking fast on this road. I don't know if it's the tires, but I can't go full speed. Go through Dickhead's yard again. They're not home. I'm only giving it as this whole video about a third throttle. That was full throttle, but it didn't get up. Check the brakes. Whoa. Yeah, pretty good. Tall grass. That's really tall grass. Yes, my neighbors like me. It's okay. Well, except for that guy. Uh-oh. I think I just destroyed it. I hit that fucking gap. But we got spare parts so we can fix it. We knocked What did we hit? Knocked the exhaust loose. Yeah. And we knocked the servo. Not bad. We just knocked the servo saver loose. No big deal. So, bam, we'll go ahead and fix that up. Oop, broke the body. That's okay. Don't care about bodies. Getting rid of that body anyway. So kids, until the next time, bam, keep your shiny side up.